Aaron Donald has become the highest paid defensive NFL player in the history of the sport. Yeah. Congratulations to Aaron Donald, who was completely at peace with retirement before negotiating or a change of his deal, basically. Ian Rappaport reported that the Rams have reworked all-world D tackle Aaron Donald's 3 remaining contract years to give him a massive $40 million raise through 2024, making him the highest-paid non-QB in NFL history at 31 years old. He gets $95 million through 2024. Damn. In negotiating this deal, the Rams opened up. Okay, so they didn't add on any years. Allegedly, at this point, there might be 5 voided years at the end of this thing. Let's assume this is going to be a 7-year, $95 million deal with 5 voided years at the end so that they can just pass the deals on the end. If they're not doing that, I'll be interested to see how they work this gimmick. But they ended up opening up $2 million of salary cap space for next year while renegotiating a deal that pays the highest paid defensive NFL player in the history of the game after paying Matthew Stafford and others on that team a wide margin amount of money above every other person in their position group, which goes back to the same old story that we've been talking for a long time. Salary cap's fugazi.
Nope. Yeah. It's not real.
And until everybody just understands that and everybody buys in on that, you're going to continue to see the rich get richer and everybody else try to battle in the way that used to be how you would battle. You build through the draft. You pick and choose who gets paid. People get paid elsewhere. You make sure you got it all in line. You have backups on backups so that next year you can't get caught in any situations. Instead, you got teams just paying everybody somehow, saying, boom, 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 boom. Here, take all our money. We don't need the picks. You do this, you do this. We'll put some voided years on the back end that'll take some of the signing bonus hit. Boom, boom, boom. You're the highest paid guy. Somehow we save $2 million. It's a win-win. You're not retiring. We're getting another one. Ring me, you said last year. Let's do it again. It's amazing what some of these teams are able to accomplish.
Yeah, it feels like the notion that we always hear is just like, hey, guess what? Like, they're going to have to pay the piper sometime, but like they have all their key guys for the next 3-4 years who said there's no proof that you can't just kick the can down the road into eternity. Like, they can just keep reworking all this shit. Like, do you actually have to pay the piper at some point? I don't know if you do.
Everybody's trying to tell us that you do.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think you do.
And everybody that's telling us that you do are the people that aren't doing it because they're living in their fears.
That's right.
Yeah. Ain't that right, Dahn? Aren't they living in their fears over there?
We don't live in our fears. Nobody lives in our fears on this show. But there are people who lives in their fears because they just don't want to pay people. There are 2 voided years at the end of this. For 2025 and 2026 are void.
Okay. And I wonder what those numbers are for that whole thing. Here's SpoTrack now. Is this real? Do we know if this is real?
Good question.
We trust SpoTrack.
Oh, yeah.
The numbers
Sport,
feel legit.
contract, SpoTrack.
Put them together.
Yeah.
Feels like he's the right person. 3 years, $95 million, $46.5 million guaranteed at signing bonus, which, by the way, that is, I think that's going to move. Another $18.5 million next March. 2 void years at the end for the cap. It's 2 years, $65 million in practical terms. Cap hits $24 million next year as opposed to 26. 23, $38 million. 24, $31 million. And then 25, another $10 million. Last 2 years do not matter. If he's to retire, he'll be good.
And then 26, not pictured on the tweet, is $5 million.
Yeah, so it's 3 extra years on the back end of that thing. So it's a 5-year deal that's actually a 2-year deal.
Yeah, because it's not a real extension, right? Because it's being reported just as a contract rework, but they actually.
But it sounds like it
2
is
years.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all fugazi. If anybody wants to work the salary cap, they can absolutely work the salary cap. Ian, this Aaron Donald deal, was it negotiated at Sean McVay's wedding? And what are the actual numbers for this? And tell us why the salary cap should be thought about at all with any decision that's made in the NFL at this point.
All right, let's start out with when this deal was done. Because I thought that, we were talking about me maybe coming on yesterday around 2:30 Eastern time. I was very happy about that because I thought that he was going to come in and sign around 2:45 so we'd get it mid-show. Oh. And then it ended up being 4:30 because he wanted to catch a workout.
He
so
dropped off anyways.
But anyway, it would.
Always,
I gotta go.
Yeah, I would have dropped off. But
sorry, I got to put a tweet out.
Yeah. No, then I would have come back.
Well, we might have.
I'd say this was basically mostly done probably by Thursday or Friday. There was some things they were trying to figure out the last year, like what happens if he retires? How do you deal with the salary cap? How can you make it make sense for the Rams in the last year? So it wasn't totally done, but I would say by Thursday or Friday, I probably had a good sense this was happening. So when knowing that, and they go to the wedding, all I can think about, just selfishly, of course, is I hope it doesn't get out at the wedding, because then I wouldn't get to break it, and that would be very sad.
What a scumbag.
But it didn't, so that was the win there. And then as far as the salary cap goes,
It's fake. Say it.
it's not fake.
Yeah, it is.
But
It's
what
fake.
seems like the Rams have done is they keep pushing it into the future, and it's eventually they're going to have to pay.
Is it?
When?
Will
When?
they? Will they? No,
When?
we don't know. Tell it.
I mean,
show me a
everyone
blueprint
keeps-
of when it
What
happened.
year?
Thank
Everyone
you.
keeps telling me the same thing about the Saints too. Now, I will say this about the Rams. To do what the Rams have done, which is to pay top dollar for your very, very best players, which is Matthew Stafford, which is Aaron Donald,
Jalen.
Cooper Kupp probably going to get a huge extension.
Jalen.
Joe Noteboom's making $12 million. You have to hit on
Jalen.
rookies and late round draft picks, and they have crushed it. So they make it work by drafting late round players fantastically. Not all teams do that. That's how they win.
Ian, was there ever a doubt that
Draft
Aaron
picks.
Donald would retire and the Rams wouldn't come to the table and give him what he wanted?
Yes. And I feel like there was some thought yesterday of people being like, well, he was never going to retire. Like, there were definitely moments covering this like pretty closely. I thought he was going to retire. There were definitely moments because he is a different dude. And like we've said before, like he has literally accomplished everything. So at 31, if he were to say, I'm good, like he wanted to be paid top dollar, wanted a raise. If the Rams weren't going to do it, like I think he would have been okay retiring. And I think that was real. It didn't come to that, but I do think that was real.
That's awesome. That's great leverage to have. Hey, I'm really comfortable. People call me the greatest football player on earth. Cool. I'm a Super Bowl champion. Cool. I got a lot of money. Cool. I believe he's married to an agent or something like that. I think they are going to continue to have great success off the field. Cool. I'm good. You want me to come continue fight against 2 to 3 men every single Sunday for you? I'm going to need top dollar. And they were able to make it work. Why was he potentially going to retire? Because they didn't think they were going to be able to work it into the fake salary cap? Go on.
No, because I think it took a while to like this contract was really unprecedented. Like we'll talk about like new money and extensions based on how many dollars are in the future and what's guaranteed. This was no New Year's. So you literally cannot calculate the
It
new
was,
dollars.
though. Didn't they just
No,
put voided
well-
years on the end?
Yeah, those are fake. Those don't count. Those are just salary
Just
cap
like the
fake.
salary
Which is
cap.
what we
Yep.
What are they? Go ahead, say what you just said. Say they're
They're
fake.
fake years for the salary cap. They count against the cap, but they're not actual money years.
No.
It's like, remember when Taysom Hill got that huge contract and everybody lost their mind?
Yes,
was
we
all
do.
fake.
4 years, 160 million or something like that.
Yeah, those were voidable fake years.
And by the
Just
way,
like
that was
last-
back when you were reporting those numbers as the actual numbers. You remember
No,
that? Yeah, and then the Aaron Rodgers
not
deal
Yeah.
came, and it was like, no, here's the actual deal. This is
Well-
what we're actually talking about.
This one is easy to figure out because there are no new years. It is just a raise. It's and
He had
nobody
5
lost their
years
mind.
left. Aaron Donald had 5 years left on his deal,
He had 3 years left. It's a 3-year deal.
but there's 3 years of voided money on the back end with a 2-year deal of guarantees.
There's 2 years of voided money on the back end, which don't count. So basically, what this deal is, it's 2 years for 65. God, what a great tweet that is. 2 years.
lot of words. Lot
of
of words. You know you're allowed to hit enter in that and start a new paragraph.
Yeah, you and Pelissero both big on the paragraph breaks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just word salad. Look at that thing.
It
You
is a
think
lot
so,
of-
huh?
It is a lot of words. Now, I would say.
Todd
not to-
France got his love, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Todd France in there, you know what I mean?
Shout out.
Hey, shout out Todd France. En
Nice
français
deal,
de Todd. Absolutely getting the deals done. But it's all fake. Ian, we know it, you know it. Anyways, Ty, your question for Ian.
Yeah, rap sheet. I don't
Who
know if
refuses to say the truth? It's all fake. You know it. We know it. Go ahead, Ty.